Dad wrote, "You're not wanted at Mom's celebration." The vote was unanimous. My sister sent a laughing emoji. I replied, "Unanimous votes come with consequences." Then I removed my name from the catering contract and froze the shared account. When the venue refused entry on the big day, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. I stared at my phone like it had just slapped me across the face. "You're not wanted at Mom's celebration." The vote was unanimous. That's what my dad texted me. Just like that. No explanation, no conversation, just a cold digital dismissal from my own family. And then, my sister Madison sent a laughing emoji. Not even words. Just that stupid little yellow face, tears streaming down its cartoon cheeks mocking me. I'm Isabella, by the way. 32 years old, living in Portland, and apparently the family scapegoat nobody bothered to tell me about. Let me back up. My mom's 60th birthday was supposed to be this huge celebration. The kind where everyone gets dressed up, takes a million photos and pretends we're closer than we actually are. For 6 months I'd been coordinating everything. The venue, the catering, the guest list, the decorations, all of it. I even used my own credit card to secure the bookings because Dad said it would be easier to manage that way. Do you think that sounds suspicious? Because looking back, yeah, it absolutely does. But here's the thing, I actually wanted to do it. I thought planning this party would bring us together. Mom and I had been distant for years. She always seemed to favor Madison, always had an excuse for why she couldn't visit me, always forgot to call on my birthday. But I kept trying. I kept hoping that maybe if I just did enough, gave enough, proved myself enough, things would change. Stupid, right? So when that text came through, 3 days before the party I'd spent half a year organizing, I felt like someone had ripped the floor out from under me. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped my phone. I called Dad immediately. "What vote? What are you talking about?" His voice was so casual it made my stomach turn. "We all talked, Bella. Your mother, me, Madison, your Uncle Rick, Aunt Diane. We decided it would be better if you didn't come. You always cause drama, and we don't want anything ruining Mom's special day." I always cause drama? I could barely get the words out. "I've been planning this entire party. And we appreciate that," he said like he was talking to a customer service representative. "But Madison can handle things from here. She's better at being pleasant." Pleasant. That word hung in the air like poison. Imagine what I decided to do then. I hung up. Didn't yell, didn't cry, not yet anyway. I just sat there on my couch staring at the wall, feeling something cold and sharp settle into my chest. My cousin Oliver, the only family member who'd ever actually been there for me, texted me about 20 minutes later. He'd heard about the vote through the family grapevine. "Izzy, I'm so sorry," his message read. "This is insane. Do not let them do this to you." Oliver had always been different from the rest of them. When everyone else was busy comparing me to perfect Madison, Oliver was the one who showed up when my apartment flooded, who remembered my graduation, who actually listened to me. He lived in Seattle, but we'd stayed close despite the distance. "What am I supposed to do?" I texted back. His reply was immediate. "Whatever you need to do. I've got your back." I looked at my laptop sitting open on the coffee table. I'd been reviewing the final payments for the venue and the catering company that morning. Everything was under my name. My credit card. My signatures. My email address on every single contract. The shared family account Dad had set up for party expenses. I was the only one with actual administrative access because I'd been the one managing everything. You think I did the right thing with what I did next? I opened my banking app first. That shared account had about $8,000 in it. Contributions from Dad, Uncle Rick, a few other relatives. Money that was supposed to pay for the final venue balance, the catering, the bar service, all of it. I transferred every single dollar into a separate account and then froze the shared one. It took maybe 90 seconds. Then I opened my email and found the catering contract. One phone call later, I'd removed my name and credit card entirely. "I'm no longer involved with this event," I told the very confused catering manager. "The family will need to contact you directly to set up new payment." The venue was next. Same thing. "I need to cancel my guarantee on the booking," I explained calmly, even though my heart was pounding. "I won't be attending and I'm no longer financially responsible." The woman on the phone hesitated. "Ma'am, if there's no confirmed payment method on file by tomorrow, we'll have to refuse entry to your party." "That's perfectly understandable," I said. "Thank you for your time." I hung up and just sat there. Part of me couldn't believe what I'd just done. Part of me felt like I'd finally stood up for myself. My phone buzzed. "Madison, did you seriously just pull out of the party? Dad is freaking out." I typed back, "Unanimous votes come with consequences." Then I turned my phone on silent and poured myself a very large glass of wine. What happened over the next 48 hours was absolute chaos. But I didn't know that yet. I didn't know that Madison would call the catering company and discover they needed $4,000 by the next day or they'd give the slot away. I didn't know that Dad would try to access the shared account and find it completely locked. I didn't know that the venue would send an email to the whole family explaining that without confirmed payment, the celebration was cancelled. But very soon I would find out exactly what happens when the person holding everything together decides to let go. Oliver called me that night. "You actually did it?" "I actually did it," I whispered. "Good," he said firmly. "Let them figure it out. Let them see what happens when they throw away the person who actually cared." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to feel strong and justified and powerful. Instead, I just felt hollow. But what came next? Oh, what came next was something I never could have predicted. The morning of the party, my phone started ringing at 6:47 a.m. Dad. Declined. Madison. Declined. Uncle Rick. Declined. By 7:15 I had 23 missed calls. I turned my phone face down and tried to breathe normally. Part of me felt victorious. Part of me felt sick. "Do you think I should have answered?" Oliver texted around 8. "They're losing their minds in the family group chat. Madison is crying, your dad is threatening to sue you and your mom hasn't said a word." "Sue me? For what, exactly? For refusing to pay for a party I wasn't invited to?" The audacity was actually stunning. I made coffee and tried to pretend this was normal. It wasn't working. Every time I closed my eyes I saw that laughing emoji from Madison. My phone rang again. Unknown number. Against my better judgment I answered. "Isabella? This is Cheryl from Riverside Events Center." The venue coordinator sounded stressed. "I have your father here and he's quite upset. He's insisting we allow the party to proceed, but without confirmed payment." Dad's voice erupted in the background. "My daughter had no right to cancel this. She's being vindictive." Something in me turned to ice. "Cheryl," I said calmly, "I didn't cancel anything. I simply removed myself from financial responsibility for an event I'm not attending. My father is welcome to provide his own credit card." "Well, yes, but..." "Then I don't understand the problem." I hung up and let myself smile. Just a little. The texts started flooding in around 9:30. "Madison, Mom is crying. Is that what you wanted?" "Aunt Diane, this is so selfish, Isabella." "Uncle Rick, you don't abandon family over a misunderstanding." Misunderstanding. That's what they were calling it now. Then my mom texted. Just 2 words, "Please, Isabella." That one almost broke me. Where was this "please" when they voted me out? Where was her voice when Madison sent that laughing emoji? Imagine how that felt, seeing those 2 words and knowing they meant nothing. Oliver called around 10. "You holding up?" "Barely." Mom texted me. "What did she say?" "Please, Isabella." He made a disgusted sound. "That's it? Not 'I'm sorry,' just 'please'." "Yeah. Izzy, you did nothing wrong. They created this situation. What happens next is on them, not you." I wanted to believe him. But guilt was already creeping in. Because that's what happens when you're raised to be the family doormat. You feel bad for refusing to lie down. Around noon another call came. The catering company. Madison was there trying to arrange last-minute payment, but they needed 48 hours notice for new contracts. "That's not my problem anymore," I said quietly. By 12:30 Madison's text changed. "The venue won't let us in. They're turning people away. Grandma is here, Isabella." "Grandma. She drove 4 hours and it's your fault." "Grandma Ruth." That hit differently. She was 83 and the sweetest person on the planet. She had nothing to do with this. I texted back, "Tell Grandma I love her and I'm sorry. Tell her the truth about why this happened." "Madison, that you're a petty vindictive brat?" "Me, that I wasn't invited to the party I spent 6 months planning." "See what she says then." No response. Around 1, Dad called from a borrowed phone. I answered. "Isabella Marichin, you fix this right now." "Fix what, Dad?" "The party you uninvited me from. We can talk about that later." "No," I said quietly. "We already talked. Unanimous vote, remember? I'm just respecting the family's decision." "Your mother is devastated." "Then maybe you should have thought about that before telling me I wasn't wanted." I hung up. My hands were shaking, but this time it felt like power. Do you think I went too far? What I didn't know was that at that exact moment, Grandma Ruth was asking Madison what unanimous vote meant. And Madison, backed into a corner, was about to tell her everything. Grandma Ruth was about to make a phone call that would change everything. Oliver texted, "I'm driving down from Seattle. Should be there by 3. You shouldn't be alone." I nearly cried. Because in that moment, Oliver was more family to me than any of them had been in years. What happened when Grandma Ruth found out the truth? "Oh, you're not ready for that." Oliver arrived at my apartment around 3 with Thai food and a bottle of wine. Comfort supplies, he announced, giving me a hug that lasted longer than usual. You doing okay? I honestly don't know, I admitted. We'd barely sat down when my phone rang. It was Grandma Ruth. My heart dropped. I looked at Oliver, panicked. It's Grandma. Answer it, he said gently. She deserves to hear your side. I took a shaky breath and picked up. Hi, Grandma. Isabella, sweetheart. Her voice was warm but tired. I need you to tell me something, and I need the truth. Were you uninvited from your mother's party? Tears immediately sprang to my eyes. Yes. And you planned the entire thing? Yes. There was a long pause. Then, I'm at your father's house right now. We need to talk, all of us. Can you come over? Wait, what? Go to Dad's house? Face all of them after what I'd done? Grandma, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not asking, sweetheart. I'm telling you. Be here in 30 minutes. Her voice had that steel underneath the sweetness that meant she wasn't negotiating. She hung up. I stared at Oliver in disbelief. She wants me to come to Dad's house. Right now. Then we're going, he said, standing up. I'm coming with you. Do you think I should have gone? Would you have? 28 minutes later, we pulled up to my parents' house in Beaverton. There were still cars everywhere. Relatives who'd apparently regrouped here after the venue disaster. My stomach was in knots. Oliver squeezed my hand. Whatever happens, I'm right here. We walked to the door. I didn't even have to knock. Grandma Ruth opened it, took one look at me and pulled me into a hug. Hi, sweet girl, she whispered. Then louder over her shoulder. She's here. Living room. Now. The scene inside was something I'll never forget. Dad sat in his recliner looking furious. Mom was on the couch, red-eyed and tissue in hand. Madison stood by the fireplace with her arms crossed, shooting daggers at me with her eyes. Aunt Diane and Uncle Rick were there too, both looking uncomfortable. And Grandma Ruth stood in the center of it all like a tiny 83-year-old judge. Sit, she told me, pointing to the empty armchair. I sat. Oliver stood behind me, hand on my shoulder. Now, Grandma said, turning to my father. Thomas, show Isabella the text you sent her. Dad's face went red. Mom, this isn't. Show her the text. He pulled out his phone with shaking hands and held it up. There it was. You're not wanted at Mom's celebration. The vote was unanimous. Grandma looked at Madison. And you, sweetheart. Show everyone what you sent after that. Madison's confident posture faltered. Grandma, it was just. Show them. Madison slowly pulled out her phone. The laughing emoji filled the screen. The room went completely silent. Grandma Ruth turned to my mother. Caroline, did you know about this vote? Mom's voice was barely a whisper. Yes. And did you agree with it? Mom looked at me for the first time, and I saw something in her eyes I couldn't quite read. I didn't disagree. Those 4 words hurt worse than the original text. Grandma nodded slowly. I see. And did any of you, think about what Isabella might feel? Being excluded from a party she'd spent 6 months planning? Being laughed at by her own sister. She overreacted. Madison burst out. All she had to do was accept it and move on, but instead she sabotaged everything. Sabotaged. Oliver's voice cut through the room. She withdrew from financial responsibility for an event she wasn't invited to. That's not sabotage. That's self-respect. Stay out of this, Oliver, Dad snapped. No, Grandma said firmly. He stays. He's the only one who seems to understand what family actually means. Then she turned to me and her expression softened. Isabella, honey, why did they vote you out? What was the reason? I looked around the room. Every eye was on me. I don't actually know. Dad just said I always cause drama. What drama? Grandma pressed, looking at my father. What has this girl ever done to deserve being cast out like this? The silence was deafening. Finally, Aunt Diane spoke up quietly. She didn't do anything, Ruth. Madison suggested it because she wanted to run the party herself. Said it would be better if she took over. My head snapped toward Madison. What? Madison's face went pale. That's not, Aunt Diane, you're twisting it. I'm not twisting anything, Diane said, and she actually looked ashamed. You said Isabella always had to be the center of attention, always had to be the one organizing things. You wanted the credit for Mom's party. We all just went along with it. The room tilted. This whole thing, the vote, the exclusion, everything, wasn't because I'd done something wrong. It was because Madison was jealous? Do you believe that? Can you imagine? Mom made a choked sound. Madison, is that true? It's not that simple. Madison's voice was rising, panicky. You all agreed. Nobody objected. Because you made it sound like Isabella was being difficult, Uncle Rick said quietly. He looked at me. You have to understand we only heard Madison's side. What side? I demanded, finding my voice. What did she tell you? Madison was backing toward the door. I just said that you were stressed and maybe it would be easier if... You told them I was having a breakdown, Mom interrupted suddenly, her voice shaking. You said Isabella was overwhelmed and acting erratic, and that it would be better for her if we took over. You said she'd be relieved. The room exploded. Dad was yelling at Madison. Aunt Diane was apologizing. Uncle Rick looked horrified. And Mom was crying harder now, but these tears looked different. Me. I just sat there, numb, as my entire understanding of the situation rearranged itself. This wasn't about me at all. It never was. Grandma Ruth's voice cut through the chaos. Enough. Everyone fell silent. She looked at each person in turn, and I'd never seen her look so disappointed. This family should be ashamed. You believed lies without question. You excluded someone without giving her a chance to defend herself. You broke this girl's heart because it was easier than thinking critically. Then something happened that I absolutely did not expect. Grandma Ruth turned to me and said, Isabella, I have a proposal. Your mother's birthday is ruined anyway. But next weekend is my birthday. I'd like you to plan me a party, a small one. Just the people who actually deserve to be there. My jaw dropped. Grandma, you don't have to. I know I don't have to. I want to. She smiled at me, that mischievous smile I remembered from childhood. And I'm thinking, maybe just you, me, Oliver, and a few of my bridge club friends. What do you think? The implications hung in the air. She was deliberately excluding the rest of the family. From her own birthday. The look on Dad's face was something I'll treasure forever. But what happened next? Oh, that's when things got really interesting. The silence in that room was absolutely suffocating. Dad found his voice first. Mom, you can't be serious. Grandma Ruth raised one eyebrow. Can't I? Seems to me I can do whatever I want with my own birthday, Thomas. But we're your family, Aunt Diane protested. Family, Grandma repeated slowly. Isabella's family too. But that didn't stop you from throwing her away, did it? Madison looked like she wanted to disappear. Grandma, I didn't mean for it to go this far. You didn't think at all, Grandma interrupted. You lied and manipulated, and everyone else was too lazy to question it. Mom stood up suddenly. Isabella, I need to talk to you. Alone. My stomach clenched. Did I want to talk to her alone? After everything? Oliver's hand tightened on my shoulder, but I nodded. Okay. We went out to the back porch. Mom closed the sliding door behind us. I'm sorry, she finally said. 2 words I'd been waiting to hear. So why did they feel so empty? For which part? I asked quietly. For excluding me? For not standing up for me? For believing Madison without even asking me? She flinched. All of it. Why didn't you call me, Mom? Why didn't you ask if what Madison said was true? She looked away. Because it was easier not to. Because Madison has always been easier. She doesn't challenge me. She just agrees and smiles and makes everything pleasant. Do you know how much it hurts to hear your mother admit you're too difficult for her? So you chose her, I said. You chose pleasant over honest. I chose wrong, Mom whispered. I've been choosing wrong for years, haven't I? We both knew it was true. Every missed birthday call, every cancelled visit. It all added up to a pattern I'd been trying not to see. I don't know how to fix this, she said. Neither do I. But maybe that's not something we can fix today. The sliding door opened. Dad stepped out, looking smaller somehow. Isabella, he started. I owe you an apology too. I should have protected you. Instead, I abandoned you because Madison reminded me of myself. Ambitious, confident. And you reminded me of your mother. Questioning everything. I thought I was helping by letting you be independent, but I was really just avoiding you. Imagine hearing that from your father. Before I could respond, we heard raised voices inside. Madison's voice. This is insane. You're all acting like I'm some kind of monster. We rushed back to find Madison in the middle of the room, tears streaming down her face. You lied to your family, Grandma said simply. You hurt your sister. Those are your choices, Madison. Now you live with the consequences. But I said I was sorry. No, I said. You actually didn't. You've made excuses, but you haven't once said you're sorry. Madison stared at me. Then she did something that shocked everyone. She collapsed onto the couch and started sobbing. Real ugly crying. I don't know how to be sorry. I don't know how to be anything except perfect. Do you know what it's like always being the good one, the easy one? It's exhausting. And then you're just yourself and everyone still loves you anyway, and I hate it. The room went silent. Oliver spoke quietly. You think Isabella doesn't try? She just spent 6 months planning a party for people who excluded her. Madison looked up at me, mascara running. I was jealous. Of you. Of how close you are with Oliver, of how Grandma talked about you. I wanted to be you and I hated you for it, and I'm so sorry. There was. Finally. Do you think I believed her? Honestly? I did. Because I recognized something real in her tears. She wasn't performing anymore. I forgive you, I said. But Madison, I can't trust you. Not yet. Maybe not for a long time. She nodded, wiping her face. I understand. Grandma Ruth cleared her throat. Here's what's going to happen. Isabella is going to plan my birthday party next weekend. And the rest of you are going to spend that time thinking about what family actually means. You're not invited to the party. But you are invited to Sunday dinner at my house 2 weeks from now. We're going to sit down and figure out how to be a family again. Everyone looked at me. Did I want to try to rebuild this? I looked at Oliver, who nodded encouragingly. I looked at Grandma Ruth, who'd stood up for me. I looked at my family, all of them flawed and messy and human. I'll come, I said. But I'm bringing dessert. Grandma Ruth smiled. Deal. As Oliver and I drove home, my phone buzzed with a text from Madison. Thank you for forgiving me. I don't deserve it. I'm going to therapy. I think I need it. I showed Oliver, who whistled. Character development. Did not see that coming. Me neither. Later that night, another text came through. From Mom. I found something today while cleaning. A box of your old school projects and letters. You wrote me so many letters, sweetie. I never realized how many I never answered. I'm so sorry. Then a photo. A crayon drawing I'd made in 2nd grade. I love you, Mommy, written in wobbly letters. I cried. Hard. But here's what I didn't know yet. What I wouldn't discover until Grandma's birthday party the following weekend. Something that would completely change how I saw everything. And it started with a conversation I wasn't supposed to overhear. Grandma Ruth's birthday party was everything Mom's celebration wasn't. Small, intimate, and filled with people who actually wanted to be there. I kept it simple. Her favorite Italian restaurant, a private room, just 8 people. Grandma and George, Oliver, her bridge club friends, and 2 neighbors. No drama. No politics. Just love. The night was perfect. Grandma was laughing, telling stories, and I felt lighter than I had in weeks. I excused myself to use the restroom around 8. On my way back, I heard voices near the kitchen. Grandma Ruth and George. I should have kept walking. But I stopped. Don't tell her yet, Grandma was saying. Tonight's about celebrating. Ruth, she deserves to know, George replied gently. They all do. I know. At Sunday dinner. I'll tell everyone then. My heart started pounding. Tell us what? 2 months isn't much time, George continued, his voice thick. 2 months? For what? I must have made a sound because Grandma appeared, saw me, and her expression softened. How much did you hear, sweetheart? Enough to be scared, I whispered. Grandma, what's going on? She took my hand and led me to a quiet corner. I'm sick, Isabella. My heart. The doctors say I have maybe 2-3 months. The world tilted. What? It's why I drove down for your mother's party even though it was hard. Why I put my foot down about all this family nonsense. Her eyes were wet but steady. I don't have time for grudges anymore, honey. None of us do. I couldn't breathe. Have you told Mom? Dad? Not yet. Sunday dinner. He touched my cheek. I wanted one perfect night first. With you. Do you know what it's like to feel your heart break and swell at the same time? We went back to the table. I tried to smile through dinner, but Oliver knew something was wrong. When we said goodbye, Grandma hugged me tight. Don't you dare treat me like I'm dying, she whispered. I'm still living. That's what matters. The week until Sunday dinner was torture. I couldn't tell anyone. It wasn't my secret to share. Sunday finally arrived. I showed up with homemade apple pie and my stomach in knots. Everyone was there. Mom and Dad looking nervous. Madison looking smaller somehow. Aunt Diane and Uncle Rick. Oliver beside me. Grandma sat in her favorite armchair. George standing beside her. Thank you all for coming. I need to tell you something. She explained everything. Her heart, the timeline, the doctors. Mom gasped and started crying. Dad went pale. Madison covered her mouth. I don't want pity, Grandma said firmly. What I want is simple. I want my family to be a family for whatever time I have left. I want Sunday dinners. I want phone calls. I want you all to figure out how to love each other. Really love each other. He looked at me, then Madison. You two especially. Life's too short for sisters to be enemies. Madison looked at me, tears streaming. Izzy, I know, I said quietly. Madison got up, crossed the room and hugged me. Really hugged me. She was shaking. I don't want to waste any more time, she whispered. I want my sister back. Okay, I whispered. Me too. Mom joined us, then Dad. Then everyone was in this giant messy group hug, all of us crying, all of us holding on. Grandma smiled through her tears. There. That's what I wanted to see. We had dinner. Real family dinner where people talked and laughed and nobody performed. Madison told stories about therapy. Dad admitted he'd been reading books on emotional intelligence. Mom asked if we could go through my old letters together. I want to answer them, she said. Better late than never. Do you think people can really change? Over the next months, our family transformed. Sunday dinners every week. Coffee with Madison on Wednesdays. Mom called 3 times a week and we actually talked. Dad and I went to a basketball game together. And Grandma Ruth lived every single day like it mattered. Because it did. She made it to 4 months, not 2. 4 months of laughter and reconciliation and love. When she passed peacefully in her sleep, we grieved together. But at the funeral, standing between Madison and Oliver listening to Mom's eulogy, I realized something. Grandma's real gift wasn't just the time she gave us. It was showing us we were capable of being better. That family isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up even when it's hard. Madison squeezed my hand during the service. I squeezed back. 6 months later, Madison got engaged. She asked me to be her maid of honor. I said yes. Mom and I have lunch twice a month now. Dad texts me dad jokes every morning. They're terrible. I love them. And Oliver, he's still my person. The one who showed up when everyone else walked away. I think about that text sometimes. You're not wanted at Mom's celebration. I think about how much it hurt, how I almost lost everyone. But I also think about what came after. The painful, messy, beautiful work of rebuilding. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best transformations. So what do you think? Did I do the right thing? Did my family deserve a second chance? If this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If you enjoyed it, please hit like. And if something didn't sit right with you, share your thoughts. I'm here to listen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me tell my story. And maybe, call your family today. You never know how much time you have.